All right, hey, how's it going, guys? Today we're going to be doing an unboxing of this guy that I got in the mail. Actually, today, as a matter of fact. It's Gerry, the geriatric zombie, I believe is his name. You see, he retails for $1.99. There is a bit of a backstory on this guy. Actually, I had the Harvester of Souls over there. You can see he's a little bit destroyed at the moment, but because Zombie Tech says that they will not replace any of the parts because they don't make it anymore, made by Techie, by the way. But so the issue was that instead of offering me anything else, they gave me a credit for the amount of 208, which I got him for like 30% off or something in store last year. So, anyways, I went with this. They wouldn't even go above the 208 mark, so I got the 199. But nonetheless, let's take a look and see what we have for Gerry. I believe he came out probably last year, not in store, only online available. Zombie Tech Squad here, of course, all the info box, nice. This one's actually kind of cool because it's segmented. They have the feet over here to the left, it looks like, and some sort of a, not sure what this billow looking, looks like a slinky thing over here to the right. Instructions, a hand, we'll get to all that. First, we'll put the instructions over here. I do like how now they are kind of, well, actually for a while they have kept the instructions in the actual plastic. I find that it keeps them a little bit safer over time because, sometimes the elements in storage can get to each and every one of those. So basically you have the frame, legs, hip, G, H, cords, I. Pretty standard setup. Arms, legs, hatchet, head, clothing, and feet. So nothing too out of the ordinary. Doesn't look like this is going to be too much of a challenge. So let's go ahead and start taking some of the items out. Right off the bat, I'm going to say this hatchet looks a little small. Hand also a little on the smaller side, but pretty durable when you look at that. This construction here is bolted on really well with four actually pieces here in the prong Velcro. Detail is pretty good on the hand. This axe, I'm not really that impressed. Set it aside for now. Here we have, looks like the shoulder piece. I've seen a lot of these on Possessed Pumpkin. Once he fell over, and this actually broke though. So you got to be careful with those. Here, clothing pieces. It's actually kind of nice how they keep it in a separate bag with the plastic. I do like that. The material feels pretty similar to all the other animatronics, although this part's kind of cool. Just a little torso, I'm assuming. Kind of heavy because this thick areas here. Toss this down for now. Pants, some more quality. Here, get rid of this. Put these to the side for now. Over here, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the shoe out. Pretty standard but good material, good hard plastic detail. Actually, it reminds me of the foot on Buzzsaw, but it's be somewhere on both these feet here. So, toss those aside. Over here, we have this hoop, but it is stuck underneath the actual base, which is fine because I'll just pull that out. This is probably going to be the waist or somewhere on the top shoulder. Over here we have his other hand. This one actually kooky here, the way this is set up with this little spring, or not spring, but whatever you want to call this. Same setup here. Yeah, pretty detailed on the hand. You see it's got a little indentation there and looks like somebody took a chunk out of it, a little bite there. But yeah, I'll toss that aside for now. These I really don't know what this is going to be for. I don't think I've actually seen any animatronic that has sort of a slinky looking feel to it. It reminds me of my portable air units, the piece that blows the hot air out. So I don't know what the point of that is or how sturdy it is. So very interesting nonetheless. Chunk them down there for now. This is actually the third one. So I don't know. This might be a little bit more complex than I had presumed. And here we have the head. It's not huge by any means, but it's actually smaller than Pumpkin Dude here. So I do think it's a bit of an older one for $199. It is pretty durable. The eyes, I'm sure they don't light up, but actually they might because I do see a cord here and this mouth's definitely not moving. So maybe it's just the eyes that light up. We'll see. There for now. This base actually is pretty sturdy and heavy. So I think that I think also for boxing him back up, that might be a bit of a challenge for storage because the way this is just really put in there. And then also this very interesting. This is already connected for some reason. IR sensor, of course. And yeah, so here we have these springs. That's kind of definitely interesting setup. I guess that's of course supposed to be like that, but I think the way that this is constructed and built, definitely a bit of an older model compared to a lot of the newer types, at least with the mechs and things like that. So yeah, sorry, we'll set this over here for now. Here we have, of course, AC adapter. Sometimes I lose these, so I'll try to remember. I put it up on Killer Instinct arcade machine and get rid of this last piece of cardboard there. These legs, kind of interesting build. They have these reinforced little pieces here, and this bend is very interesting because most of the time they're not quite bent to this extreme. So anyways, put those down here. And then finally, of course, we do have the base. Pretty standard, similar. Reminds me of the one that I had for Shorty. And many of the other animatronics. So now we'll go ahead and get this X-Men stool out of the way. Set this down here. Sometimes they're kind of picky on, front versus back. It's telling me that this thing in the corner should be in the front, I believe. So we'll go ahead and do that. Place the base part A on a suitable flat surface. Place the front shoe part P over the right pole of the base part A. So pretty self-explanatory with that. Right shoe there, on the right base. And of course, place the black shoe with the whole part Q. I don't actually know if these are not labeled Q or anything, which don't really need to have that, but usually they do have some sort of a letter on them. And actually this does look kind of more like the right if I look at it. I'm not really sure it matters, but we'll go ahead and adjust them anyways. And then next we're going to want to put on the right leg pole part B and the left leg pole part C to the base, lining the spring pins until they snap and lock into place with the pre-drilled holes. Of course, that's always the way. These are not labeled either. A lot of the times they will actually label these. I'm not sure if it's going to make a difference, but sometimes if you do not do this part correctly, you end up with a bit of a janky animatronic. So this looks like C. They are a little bit different actually. C has a little bit longer of a part here and longer here. So it's telling us that the right leg pole B and left leg pole part C. So this being of course the left from the animatronics position. Go ahead and pop that on. And then also here, pop this guy on here. Right here. And those go in pretty easily actually. Sometimes they really don't, and you have to force them, especially when there's a lot of weight on the top, I found out. Next on step 5, we're going to want to attach the plastic tubes part D to each of the leg poles by lining up with the metal fork with the pre-drilled. Okay, similar things. So, you know what? I'm not sure actually if I remember pulling out. Oh, okay. So that's what those little billow things were actually. So it's interesting in this build the way that they've done this, because as you know, pretty much all of the newer animatronics, they just have like this type of a long foam, but this actually is wanting to stretch that out. That's kind of fun actually, and then put it over the leg to make it, more of a sturdy sturdy legs. So that's really interesting because I have not yet done one of these where you actually have to use these. So they look to be exactly the same. So we'll go ahead and put those over, and let's take a peek to see, because there's a ring in this pole only on one side and not on the other. So I'm assuming that it's going to want that to go to the top. And it looks like from the diagram that that does go towards the top, which, yeah, now I see here that there's actually 2 prongs at the back that you can line that up in. So that's a little bit of a better feature, actually, in my opinion, because this is going to stay in there a lot better. And sometimes the foam, what happens is, you'll see on this guy over here, the actual leg fell out because it just didn't attach that well. And we'll have to go and do some work on little Jack Carver there to get him back in full position. But take a look on doing that on. Attach this up here to the prongs. Goes right in like that. Pretty sturdy, I would say. Next, on part step 6, it says that we're going to want to slide the pants, part O, over and down the plastic tubes. Of course, pretty self-explanatory on that. Put these right over. A lot of times in the back they Velcro so that you can easily access either the box where you put in all the wires and hook up your step pads and external speakers and all that, but it looks like this one actually is just one piece. So again, very similar to the buzzsaw pants. Go ahead and throw this over here. I always be careful with this. Sometimes this is sharp, and if you are in too much of a rush, I think it has the potential to rip this really thin fabric. So I would suggest that you take your time and do it nice and slowly, just to avoid any potential issues with that, as it's already starting to get a bit tight there. Yeah, so yeah, be on the lookout for that. But we'll leave that on as it is for now. Actually, it does show in the diagram pretty clearly to go over, but I'm starting to get concerned because that's popped off already. So we'll have to put it back in the prongs, and then see, it keeps wanting to pop out and pop off. Stay down. And on this side, actually the same thing. So put it back in its little prong. We'll leave it like that for now. Let's see what's the next step. But yeah, this is very interesting in the fact that it's got so much torque and pressure on there. Okay, so next, step 7. Attach torso frame E to the top of the leg poles B and C by lining up spring pins until they snap and lock into place with pre-drilled holes. So let's take a look at this guy. This piece is actually pretty heavy. And I'm trying to take a look at the instructions to see whether it wants the speaker to go forward, which it looks like it does. Usually it does, because of course the plugs are going to want to go to the back and face the full blast volume to the front. So we'll do it like this. The other interesting thing is all this. I don't know how that's going to line up if I do that like that. And also just one thing over there on one side that's kind of peculiar. So attach torso B, so it's showing that this little thing is sticking out to one side, but these are not anywhere near close enough together to fit to that. So maybe, surely not like that, no. I don't know if there's something that there's no way that this can expand any further out unless I was to try to take this off, but no. Well, let's just see what happens if we put one on, which we will. Yeah, I don't know if this is really gonna, I hate to force it because it does not want to bend like that at all. So we're gonna have to take a look and see how this is gonna go. Because if you put this one on, no, there's no way. You know what? I think what we did was we screwed up on this part. We need to either